On the eve of my 25th birthday, at the end of my first year as a full-time teacher and nearing the annual performance review of my first year as a husband, I found myself reflecting more and more on the curious miracle that I have made it this far in one piece, and that I have somehow accumulated the knowledge and skill needed to pull off a half-decent adult impression. It's only taken me a quarter of a century to have found my own roof overhead, a beautiful, talented spouse, and on top of it all, gainful employment. I have yet to burn anything down or be arrested. I find most of the people I meet to be pretty agreeable, and I tend not to embarrass my family in turn. All told, I like to think I fall on the you done good end of the spectrum. Recently, I'm becoming more aware of the successes I've had in the advent of adulthood, and that they are a testament to God's grace and the precious value of those who have taught and guided me. After 25 years, I can plainly see many of the lessons I've learned over the course of my short life without even realizing them. And thank goodness for that. Tonight I would like to share a term that my peers and I colloquially refer to as sneaky academics. We use the term to refer to the sort of learning that happens when someone isn't aware that they are learning or being taught. I want to speak to the value of unseen lessons that we have all experienced, and I hope to spark a bit of reflection. Before I proceed, I must go on the record saying that I put great value in the content that is taught in the classroom. The education kids are exposed to on a daily basis serves an important role in helping them to become well-rounded people with some capacity for critical thinking and self-awareness. The learning I am talking about, however, rarely is found in a book. Sneaky academics manifested in my life through my experiences in two local charter schools, both of which I enrolled in during their maiden years. I feel like I can say, candidly of course, that in these years there was perhaps an equal amount of learning happening on both sides of the desk, if you take my meaning. But my education worked out in the end, and I learned a lesson from that. It wasn't until I spent a school year building my own program and was able to look back at my past teachers that I realized that on any given day, they were probably just as frantic as I have felt this year. The struggle was there, but I was none the wiser. I learned from my teachers then and now, and I turned out all right. Again, my impeccable track record for not setting things on fire. In these schools, I was able to connect with teachers in ways I'd never before experienced. They were a different breed. They would never sugarcoat the trials of their own lives or wrap themselves in mystery. They let you know who they really were because there was value in that. It made them approachable. I was shocked when I learned that my teachers didn't sleep under their desks. At the time, I didn't know I was learning anything from all this. I just thought it was rad to have a teacher who had Star Wars marathons while correcting papers. It wasn't until I found common ground with the kid at the bottom of my own deck of Pokemon cards that I realized the power in opening up to students. You'd be surprised at how much Lord of the Rings lore lends itself to useful classroom analogies. I learned much through the experiences I had under my teachers' leaderships on trips. How cool is it to learn about the great outdoors from a canoe, mountaintop, or frozen tent? And then how critical has it become to translate the endurance and dedication of a 30-mile hike into the workplace? I hear a trip leader's voice. Go ahead and quit right here in the middle of the trail, but where are you quitting to? The thing I learned on these trips lay hidden underneath easily explained purpose, but had unexpected depth to them. While learning the hard knocks of winter camping, I was also learning the patience and community needed in daily interaction. While helping the underprivileged in their homes, I was discovering the favor and certainty of my own standard of living. I remember a school trip abroad settling into casual conversation with a person from half a world away. This man wasn't any different from me. I had come to see museums, old buildings, and paintings, but what I found was that the people in the world news, losing loved ones and rejoicing in their first election, were real humans somewhere feeling real emotions. That stranger taught me what I hadn't intended to learn. I segue now because it would be folly to say more about valuable lessons without giving recognition to my parents. I have fortunate parents that not many recognize as such. When my parents divorced, I got caught up in the moroseness of it. I didn't realize until later the value of 4 loving adults weighed against 2. Now, understand that my parents didn't exactly go to the same buffet line for their worldviews. Living week by week on opposite ends of the spectrum helped me define my own heading. I didn't know that living in a teepee with mom taught me to appreciate simplicity, natural things, and good conversation. I wasn't aware that working alongside dad had built responsibility, perseverance, and the value of humor. So, those of you who are older than me have just heard a pup describe what growing up is like. But I have a reason. Somewhere in my life, I developed a passion for learning and, by extension, for teaching. I saw a quality in my teachers that I needed to emulate. Today, fortune has led me back to the halls of the school I love and placed me among my pantheon of role models. I come back to sneaky academics. What a revelation is had each time a person sees that the things they learned by accident were taught on purpose. After all, the saga of human history is chock full of stories containing gems of insight to be told to unsuspecting kids. I look to those underhand adults in my life who have been covertly teaching me important stuff right under my nose. Knowing that I can be deliberate in fostering this learning has changed my perspective as an educator. A great segment in our program called Discovery is a breeding ground for sneaky academics. Every week, students trudge headlong into lessons in survival, cooking, Mars colonization, sustainability, mad science, and more, all the while being taught things they aren't needing to learn. What have you learned without knowing it? Who taught it to you? Do you value that knowledge? Will you pass it on? I hope these brief minutes give you something to ponder. More so, I hope you practice an awareness for the unspoken lessons in your life. Not one of us is done learning. The day you stop learning is the day you stop living. Compassion, persistence, community, not all things can be handily taught or learned, but we can all learn them. Those of us that understand these things have to pass them forward. We can have fun with it though. Wrap gems of insight and mystery and build a story around it. Laugh at the shocked faces of future generations when they catch on to what has been in their face all along. Remember that the most potent life experiences and the most essential growth happens without us even knowing it. If we understand this and are deliberate about reflecting and improving upon these lessons, it will cause us to grow in critical and life-changing ways. What will you learn without needing to?